All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hi guys, Gillian Leivers here, just checking in with you. You all know me, the man fighting the grave miscarriage of justice.
Don't flinch. We're pulling the curtain back on the injustice on the Greenfeeds case, where verdicts were handed down, but justice was not served. So buckle up. This isn't just a broadcast, it's a reckoning. This is a case of a grievous injustice, and we want to understand how things went so wrong. Listen in every Saturday between 12 and 2 p.m. and hear how the story unfolds. You'll be blown away by its content. Only on Dreamcatcher Radio.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
Okay, we are back for episode 50 of the Greenfeeds Injustice case. I'm joined today by Phil Bentley. Good afternoon, Phil.
Good afternoon.
And Ian Leivers. Good afternoon, Ian.
Good afternoon.
I heard you just come back from the spa.
Indeed.
Have a nice time?
Yeah, did the cold plunge, 10 minutes, and then into the sauna and feel great now. The endorphins, dopamine, serotonin. So yeah, all good. Thank you.
You actually train there, or do you?
I do sometimes use the gym there. Yes, I've trained legs as well. So I've trained legs, then did the cold dip, and then the sauna.
Right. The Phil, you been to the gym?
Yeah, I went to the gym yesterday. I've been walking like RoboCop ever since.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It takes me a couple of days to get over it now. Some beggar it is, getting old.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm in the same boat. Just do the minor things, and you're in pain for a little while.
Brad, next year you and I will be doing half marathons together. I promise you.
Yeah, an old trait of Del Boy comes to mind. This time next year, we'll be millionaires.
Yeah.
I had an interesting call today. It's not a typical phone call, and it's a guy that's out of prison now, but he went to prison for murdering his wife, which he denies. He served his full sentence, pretty much, and he was explaining about access to justice in terms of, because he's still fighting for what he believes is injustice. He didn't commit the murder, and he's got 100 reasons why he didn't do it. He blames ineffective counsel, witnesses that popped up. He said there was something like 180 witness statements put in, and he said he probably knew about 9 of the names that was before the court.
That 180 witnesses.
Yeah, 180
What
witnesses.
do you do? Murder behind the goal at a football match?
Yeah, I shouldn't giggle. But yeah, I didn't think of that line quite quickly.
We use so often.
Pardon?
Yeah, shocked, but I'm not shocked anymore. I believe it.
Yeah. So when he's talking about how difficult it is living in society with a life term over your head. He said he avoids going out now, out of risk of getting into an issue with somebody. He said he went to the fish and chip shop the other day, and some guy was kicking off, and started having a go at him, and he said he had to run away like a baby, out of fear of being recalled.
Yeah, I have empathy. I understand how it feels.
He said he's getting a job is extremely difficult for obvious reasons.
I understand.
He says he's now got a new partner, and he said trying to find someone to do a proper appeal is near impossible. And he actually, funny enough, he said to me, "Do I know anybody that can store his files?" And I said, "How many files you got?" He said, "I've got about 750 square foot of files. But they need to leave the storage place, which is around the corner from the prison where he served his sentence. And so basically, you imagine that 750 square foot, that's 75 square meters of boxes. And I said that sounds awfully a lot if you stack the boxes as well. But he wants to keep them in order to be able to do his appeal one day. I mean, I literally couldn't get him off the phone, if I'm honest, because you can just tell he's oozing desperation, almost getting me to believe him that he's telling the truth. But I just listened to his story, and yeah, it was sad. He was explaining the circumstances, where she was found, and all the relevant lies that were told. That he was seen cycling in the rain, and he's an older gentleman as well. And he just said that it's to any common man, having relived it, slept it, it wouldn't make any sense to anybody. And he said basically he fell short of the jury. They were half asleep most of the time, and just wanted to get out of there. And then he felt that it's too complex for them, and because there was so much just stuff thrown at him during the trial, most of it non-evidential. He said it's all circumstantial. There's no DNA, nothing. His phone was shown to be at home with him, where he was. He was following his usual routine, and his belief is, and this is an interesting line, they set the narrative, they set the focus on him, and all they focused on was convicting him. And his crime being that he was the husband of the woman that was murdered. That's the only connection he had to her, which is a big connection. I get it. But you can tell he was really, really traumatized, broken man, and doesn't have any faith in the legal system. And so it was sad to hear, and it's hard to comprehend if it is true that he was wrongly convicted. I don't know how you get over that, notwithstanding losing your wife. So there you go.
You don't get over it.
Yeah.
What sort of time period are we talking here then?
What, that he served?
No, well, not that he served. No, how long ago was it?
He got out just at COVID, when COVID started. So he did 22 and a half years behind the door.
Teeth.
So and he's got a 99-year license. So anything he does, he needs to inform the police, or probation, I should say. And if he doesn't, he could be recalled. So, for example, if he buys a new mobile phone, he needs to inform the police. If he's in a new relationship, he needs to inform the police. If he buys a new car, he needs to inform the police. If he buys any of capital assets over 250 quid, he needs to inform probation. I mean, he said it's like, being fully controlled. If he goes out of area, he needs to inform probation. Literally anything, he said. You are literally controlled. There's certain areas he's not allowed to go to, even now. So because of other family members that are portrayed as victims as well, which is understandable. Someone's died. But areas that he used to reside around, he's not allowed to go to for the rest of his life.
How was he supposed to have killed her?
Something to do with a lake. So I think she drowned in a lake. I didn't really go into detail because I was listening to him telling me his story.
Children, right?
What was that, Ian?
Does he have children?
I don't know, to be honest. I did ask that question. I quite literally, I probably said about, in the space of an hour, I probably said about which is unusual for me, about 10 words. I was just there to listen, to be an ear for him. I didn't expect it, to be honest. I didn't know why he wanted to speak with me. I have actually met him in person before, and he's quite a sheepish guy. But we were just crossing paths at an event, and yeah, he said he's been trying to get hold of me, which I was unaware of, and then he just unloaded that on me, his story. And I'm gathered, he would have went on for another hour explaining his story.
You just want to get in the queue.
Yeah, quite. Anyway, it's just, we don't know what goes on in these court systems, do we really? We don't know, what we know is what we're reading out and discussing here in the Greenfeeds case. But there's so many examples.
The thing is, though, it makes you aware, doesn't it? Well, it's certainly made me aware. So now, every time I'm listening to the news, and there's such a lot of this going on at the minute. It sort of it shows that the legal system, which we thought was like gilt edged, stitched on, isn't. It just isn't. And it almost seems like it's a numbers game, like everything else. If there's a crime committed, the police decide they're either going to prosecute it or not, and if they decide they're going to prosecute it, you can look out whether you're innocent or not.
It does sense to me it's a finger in the air kind of scenario. Which way is the wind sailing today?
Yeah, can we get a conviction on this without getting around the prosecutors?
I mean, there is some great policing. I mean, I watch true crime all the time, and I watched a cold case the other day, 16 years old, and just a fresh set of eyes put on it. They found the guy who did it. Everything made sense. It wasn't easy, and the way they had to get DNA evidence through the family tree, speaking to neighbours who remember the day of the murder of this old woman, and in association with this was there was an arson attack at the same time of the murder, and the neighbour was known for being an arsonist in the entire community. And the police started putting all the dots together. They even had DNA at the time, but at the time of then, DNA apparently was not as advanced as it is now. I'm guessing it's evolving all the time. But they got this bit of DNA. They got his own witness statement where he said he's not seen the woman for 6 months prior, not being into a house, 6 months prior. Yet there's fresh DNA found underneath her fingernail, where she clenched her fist, protecting, well, she wouldn't have known it, I imagine, at the time, but protecting that DNA. But he set her on fire, but her fist was still clenched. And
I think I saw the same program. Actually,
you've seen it, yeah, fascinating, wasn't it? Excellent policing, excellent policing. But you don't get to see that much nowadays. Could be that it does go on. I imagine it does. But then I think about all the terrorists the police are sitting there just watching, known terrorists. Also all the protests the police have to monitor, and also, I mean, I just had a TikTok video go viral, and where the policing arresting someone that reposted a Facebook post in relation to the British flag, and the person that actually posted it turned up. His name is Lawrence Fox. He's quite well known at the time when he was being arrested, because there was a pre-arranged interview. But the police arrested the guy for it. I don't know the outcome of the court case, if I'm honest. But and it kind of thinks, what are the police doing? I think you look at Islam and Islamophobia. I know I'm going off topic, but I saw someone quote the other day that it's the most easily offended religion there is, which is a very important point, because people are getting arrested for what you'd consider free speech. But it's not no more. It's like you have to keep your mouth stum. You're not entitled to free speech. You can't offend people. I mean, that guy got arrested because he caused someone anxiety. Can you believe that? How can you get arrested for calling someone that claims to have anxiety? I have anxiety all the time. You know?
Yeah, it's gone crackers, hasn't it? It's gone absolutely crackers. Yeah.
Anyway, we've let's go back to Sam. Sam Ramage, also known as Oxley, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So she's the health and safety consultant for Greenfeeds, Hillcrest, or it's the other way around.
Yeah. She worked for Allied Plant Services Limited.
Yeah, which is her father's business. I think it was an offshoot, really, wasn't it? I think they kind of thought they can get into this trade.
Well, I think she was operating off the back of her dad. Her dad was doing training for Ford trucks and things like that. So he would find companies that didn't have an awful lot of health and safety, and then he would put his daughter forward and her company, Allied Plant, to take on the health and safety. I think that's how it worked.
Yeah.
She was qualified, though. She's got all kinds of qualifications behind the name, apparently.
Yeah, but she didn't have any spectacles.
No, absolutely not.
Because you couldn't see that tankers were operating at Greenfeeds.
No.
And I kid you not, that's what she said.
Well, she's going to say it in a minute.
Okay, so you start off, Phil, as per normal, and I'll do the responses.
So she's just been to the customer's location. So remember what concern was the customer was expressing?
The poor health and safety at the time that Hillcrest had.
When you first had involvement with Hillcrest, what health and safety policies did they have in place?
Okay, yeah, funny enough, this is what I was messaging about earlier. They didn't have anything. This is a bit that confuses me, Ian.
And me.
Is where, Phil and I were going back through our memories. We've not seen anybody mention Peninsula apart from yourself and Jake.
Yeah, they told us that we couldn't use anything pre-2015.
Why?
Because they said the offence happened and the investigation was between 2015 right up until the incident date, nothing before and nothing after.
Who told you that, Ian?
Pardon?
Who told you that?
Kennedy's Law.
What?
It's in the documents, in the recordings, it's all there.
So
it's all documented. This is documented. Many
they were even dragging up 2005.
Correct.
That's just about what I was going to say, Phil, actually.
Correct.
They brought up that previous incident.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
On that note, Phil has been doing some research in the background.
Well, let me also say this.
Go ahead.
There was an email to Peninsula, and they says, "Yeah, let us know, and we will help." And that was all Kennedy's Law did with Peninsula. Nothing. Yeah,
but if you're trying to demonstrate the construct of a business, they're almost saying you've got to have the history there.
Well, all I can tell you is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And if you do believe me, then I could pull out hundreds of emails where this is documented. They told us the offence and the investigation was between 2015 and the incident date. Okay?
Shocking. Phil, what was that email that you read out? And I know we briefly discussed it off air, that you did some digging and managed to get some information surrounding this contract. That
Ian's referred to a guy called Martin Fortune, who we both know, and incidentally we would both trust because he's such a 24 solid guy, and basically he was doing the total waste management consultancy package for Britvic and one other company, I think it was. So he would be employing other companies to do the disposal or the recovery of products away from landfill. And so that would be his responsibility. But he wouldn't act unless he was given authority by the likes of Britvic to use certain people. There was an email actually eventually that was sent to Martin and saying that Oxley, I think it was Martin, they'd been to site and they'd given a presentation to Britvic, and they'd satisfied Britvic of the health and safety system that Oxley had introduced to Hillcrest, and therefore they were quite happy for Martin Fortune to carry on using Hillcrest for taking away their waste product. That's the top and bottom of it.
Okay. Just thinking about going back to the pre-2015 thing again, wasn't some of the witnesses even pre-2015 that we've read out?
It was just they led us down the garden path. You know, this is what they was telling us, and I'm saying, well, surely you've got to use Peninsula, and no, we can't use nothing. It was just lies. But if you listen to the recordings that I made with their consent in the Manchester one, we discussed this about 2015. But all I can tell you, in all those years leading up to the trial, I've got emails documented talking about this. Why can't we? Why can't we? Well, we can't, and that was that.
Well, that's that's not acceptable, is it? Really, because the whole construct of their case was proving or trying to prove that Gillian was aware of the dangers of carrying pig feed in tankers, that she was a senior manager and making decisions at the time, and to go back just 12 months basically isn't really going to cut it. To actually stand up and say this company had got scant regard for health and safety. They didn't have any health and safety because they were saving money, which is what they said.
Yes.
It was just purely a financial thing. You're just doing it to save money in the business.
Yes, Bill, you're also correct. But as we've just discussed earlier, this trial was about getting us into the court doors, through the court doors, behind the glass, and then they just ambushed us with everything, and we was in total chaos. And they was bringing all sorts of things out, because I actually said, "How can you read a FEMAS letter out apparently from 2019, and all this is documented, when you said that we can't have no evidence after the incident date, nothing can be produced." It was all a big lie, and that's just
definitely a lie. That's definitely a lie.
It is, Brad. Nobody can get it that they said this, but you have to trust me. It's documented, so all this will come to fruition when Gillian's conviction's quashed, when we look at Kennedy's for the claim against them for this, what they've done to us.
Well, I have got copies of copies of your FEMA certificates. I've even got copies of your corporate insurance at the time. So what he was saying was, it might not be health and safety, but it does show that you were playing the game, that you had what was required by a company as large as Britvic,
of course,
to actually do the job. He even gave me one or two risk assessments that Oxley had done. Granted, there was only two of them that she'd signed a name to them, and reading through them, it makes me wonder if she did know what she was doing. But she did do a couple of risk assessments. So he said, it was probably your consultant that did them, but they're there, so you can't deny it. They're actually there. Something to do with operating a fork truck, or operating a baler or a crusher or a screener, something like that.
You're right, Phil. Don't forget, last week, Brad played the recording in the Manchester meeting where Molly Mangan confirms that there was a risk assessment hidden, and Laura's found it, and it was sent over prepared by Sam Oxley regarding risk assessment to tankers, which she claimed in court she didn't know were around tankers. It's outrageous. She should go to jail for perverting.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
There was definitely one relating to bulkers,
Right.
Arctic tippers.
Yeah.
Because there was a photograph of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
There was even a brochure for Hillcrest.
Yeah. Let's also not forget, I lost someone in 2005. And so after that, granted, before risk assessments, I'm going to put my hands up, because we came from farming background, was non-existent. But when I employed Peninsula, you can imagine, Peninsula, I set them on immediately because I needed insurance, of course, as well. Immediately after that death in 2005. So they've come on site knowing someone's died. They wanted everything correct, didn't they, in the next 5 years contract? And I did too. Let's not also forget on body cam, when I went into the boardroom on the 22nd of December 2016, I said this: how could this happen again? That was my first words. How could this happen again?
Mhm.
Yeah. You thought you didn't think they were talking about tankers, though, did you? You thought they were.
When Laura rang me, well, I'd been to Bolton on business, and I came back, and as I always say, you have to find an hour a day for the gym. So it was around about exactly the time when the incident occurred, at 4:20, when I walked into the gym. And as I was going in, Laura's ringing me. I thought, I'm not speaking to you now. I need my hour in the gym. And it's when I came out, she said, Nathan and Gavin's died, Dad, in a tank. And I broke down thinking they'd fallen into the mixing tank and been chopped up. That's what I thought had happened. I was shocked to the core when I said to Lance, what tank was it, Lance? And he said, a road tanker, Dad. And, the body cam's there, but I just remember it word for us. What were they doing in there? I was in complete shock.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But that was a confusion all the way through the case as well. What tank were they in? What tank is Robin talking about? What tank? Was it the Swan Neck? Was it Joe? Which tanker was it? And it's not made clear at all, is it, throughout the whole case what they're actually talking about?
No, Phil. That's why, as you two know, and you've looked at the Green Goddess, that's why I've retained it as evidence to demonstrate you cannot get beyond that first baffle. And if you stand, which Mike Maruniak confirmed, your body's out of the tanker. That one where Nathan apparently on the 14th of November 2016 was washing it out. He was stood in the front, but you can't get any further down because it's arch shapes. So if there's any liquid in, you've got to snorkel between it. And don't forget, there's about 6 or 8 baffles. So as you get further down, there's no lids. They was all sealed over. It would be absolutely pitch black, blacker than the black hole of Calcutta. You couldn't. It's impossible. And so, even this one we've raised recently, because we know it was so corrupt, there was some texts apparently sent by Nathan on the night he died, stating that, he's got to clean a tanker out again. Now, let me tell you something. Now we know how corrupt it is. Those texts were put in afterwards. 100%. Guess who had his phone after he died? Us. And we gave it back, along with some other personal belongings, to his father when he collected his motorcycle. And so his family had his mobile phone, and we know how corrupt it is now with the Maruniaks. They then decided to put some texts in, and the police would go along with this to state that he was having to clean a tank out because he did, and unhappy faces. He was stood in the front of the Green Goddess, so there'd be nothing unhappy about it because he never went into a tanker. So those texts were fabricated. We know how corrupt the trial was. Nobody checked the authenticity of those. But one day, unless the phone's now been destroyed, they can be retrieved from the iCloud, can't they? And I know they were fabricated now, knowing what I know.
Does everything
Well,
get
they-
backed up to iCloud automatically?
I'm not sure, Brad. I think so. Everything goes to the iCloud, doesn't it? It's time stamped.
Oh, okay, I don't know. I know I have to pay for a service, but I wondered if everything generally gets backed up by the motherboard, so to speak.
Well, I would have thought even on his mobile phone texting, you'd have a time when it was text, wouldn't you? And you couldn't do it later. I think. But I know the fabricator because you can't get through the front baffle of Green Goddess, so he wouldn't have been unhappy because it was put in later. Everything was staged for the narrative to framers. Everything.
Did they use that information in the court case, though?
Sorry, Phil.
Did they use that information in the case?
They actually took photographs of text with emojis and unhappy emojis and produced them. But
You didn't use the text from Nicky Maruniak, though, did they?
did not know.
Strange, that, eh?
All those insults.
In those texts that Jack called his father rather than 999. Now, I want to say something else, and I'll keep it limited. I've had a conversation today with the police, and as we all know, I'm releasing the footage of Jack Maruniak this Friday when he's fleeing the scene, ringing his father when he bumped into Pat Rutherford. It's been decided by me today, after that call with the police, that I'm going to edit it and I'm going to make it obscured so you can't see his body. Because at this moment in time, it's fresh evidence and I've got to ensure, I'm just making sure that you can see his legs and that he's walking, and I'm editing it to make it so it's clearly visible that he's zigzagging, because the only time I know that you should zigzag is if perhaps you were running the trenches in the First World War and a sniper's shooting at you, or there's a famous young soldier in the Battle of the Bulge when he had to cross over the road to get the bazooka and he zigzagged because someone's aiming at you. Well, if you're fleeing the scene or going to get help from, say, the office, what was happening that night when Richard Draycott ran in a straight line, why would you walk and zigzag?
Yeah, it was peculiar. I mean, it's all. I mean, the one I saw, he does go left and right quite severely, almost as if he's drunk.
You are right, Brad. Well, I'm editing it now and making it obscure so the public cannot see that he's holding a phone, but they will see his feet walking, and that's what I'm going to release.
Okay, we need to go to a break. Phil, do you want to introduce the first song?
Oh, yeah. Okay, this song is called Ride Into the Red Sky.
Okay, we're going to play that now.
Side and burns like a final flame tonight. Ride into the red sky, leave the storm behind. Through the fire, through the shadows, still our hearts survive. Ride into the red sky, where the lost souls fly. Ride forever, ride together, till the stars collide. Radio echoes floating through the dusk. Old motel lights fading into dust. Every mile carries who we are, like a wound beneath the stars. Still we ride, still alive, through the fading light. Tonight, ride into the red sky, where the endless highways shine. Through the darkness, through the heartbreak, still we ride as one.
Great news! You can now listen to Dreamcatcher Radio on your Alexa or your smart speaker. It's very simple. All you've got to do is say, Alexa, enable Dreamcatcher Radio skill, and she'll start playing your favourite radio station, Dreamcatcher Radio. Coming soon, the mobile app for Android and iOS. Keep it locked in wherever you go to Dreamcatcher Radio.
This is
Dreamcatcher Radio.
Okay, we are back. Something else, Phil, I was thinking just during the break. Do you know, in regards to what Ian just said about Peninsula, that should be another one you should add to this ongoing list of issues. So if you can make a note of that and add that to the schedule, which I think is over 80 now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably about 83 with this now.
Yeah. Okay, let's go back to this then.
So I'm going to say your company wrote the health and safety policy and various risk assessments.
Yeah.
Who decided what was to be risk assessed? We have to ask them what they actually do.
Oh, that's me, actually.
Oh, yeah.
We have to ask them what they actually do. They talk us through their process and operationally, and then from there, it's pulled together. I can see a question further down here, Phil, right? But the here, the processes and operationally, right? And let's just go carry on to the next.
Who's they?
Remember speaking to Martin and chatting to their son, Lance Leivers.
Did you have anything to do with tankers?
No. Now, let's go back to her previous point they talk us through the process. Right? In layman's terms, what's your process?
Making a liquid porridge.
Right? And your operate. She says operationally. How did you operate? How
So
did it come to the door? Leave the door?
Yeah, well, we tipped the dry products into tipping bays, and then we had tanks outside, storage tanks. We had liquid mixing tanks, and you load it into the mixing tank, the dry product with the liquid. It macerated together, it went into a holding tank, and then that porridge was pumped onto our lorry tankers, and then the lorry tankers took it to customers, whether they'd go on to the A1 at Long Bennington or the way you guys went to site. You drive past Sam Ramage's house through Bottisford with, at that time, Hillcrest on, or sign written all over my tankers.
Yeah. And why did you employ a person named tank drivers? What are they for?
Tanker drivers drive liquid tankers.
All right. Okay. I could never fathom, right, for the life of me, Phil, right, that tankers were never ever discussed.
How on earth has she been able to get away with this statement? It really beggars. It just foxes me. It really does. It really does.
Okay. And the thing is, what annoys me as well is just how they simply move on. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
they just
They
move
never
on,
mentioned. They're never mentioned.
Well, the biggest one, guys. Yesterday I was in another court case, a civil matter, and I told the barrister, I said, "What do you think my yard manager said in the Greenfeeds trial when the barrister was asking him?" And by the way, it was a KC, and the room was full of KCs, and they're going through my yard manager and saying, "Well, we're your yard manager." "Well, we might have been." "Well, we're your yard manager." "Well, we worked as a team." And then he said to him, "Mr. Maruniak, are you telling us the truth?" And I says, "What do you think he said?" He says, "Well, yes." I said, "No." He said, "I cannot guarantee it." It knocked him off his feet. He didn't know what to say.
So it should. It's not even funny though, but that's what he said.
It floored us three, didn't it?
He said,
basically.
He said, "Did the trial continue?" I said, "Yeah." They just kept. They went asking him different questions, and he had to sit down, shaking his head.
Yeah. Okay, as per normal, he moves on.
So, when you went to Hillcrest, who did you deal with?
There's one more before that, Phil.
Or were they? Well, he said, "Do you have anything to do with tankers?" Asked in relation to tankers, and you said no. Were they mentioned to you?
No.
So it was a very good chat through the process, then, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing also as well. These tankers, they're quite a primary asset in terms of value as well for your business, Ian, right?
About 80 grand a piece, the new ones.
Is that with the truck as well?
No, then you've got your truck. I went on to in 2015 the best trucks you could get. Scania V8s,
Yeah.
I looked after the best, and they was cost about 125 grand at the time.
Well, you need the best if you're going to deliver methane, wouldn't you?
Phil, stop it. People will start believing you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's impossible to deliver methane on one of them tankers. But anyway, apparently not if you're summing up. So when you went to Hillcrest, who did you deal with?
Mainly Gillian Leivers. I never actually, apart from seeing him in passing, never had any dealing with Ian Leivers. Is that true?
Not at all. I set her on. Martin, I knew her dad. I dealt with her dad. It was Malcolm, and, I got on a good relationship with him. At this time in 2012, Gillian had just had her feet reconstructed, and she'd just come back the year before from Spain, and she wasn't there. She just, as we say, she just took care of my payroll. She would have been paying her. That's what Gillian did. Paid people and got the money in, spoke to the farmers, invoiced them, and got all my money in. She handled my money since we got married, 1984.
Right.
So mainly with Gillian Leivers. You didn't see much of Ian Leivers.
No.
When you completed your reports, where did you send them?
I would give them to whoever's in the office, whether it be Gillian Leivers or Martin.
Ever give them to anyone else?
No.
What sort of things would these reports contain?
Basic health and safety failings in line with legislation, so she understands the law then, such as PUWER and workplace regulations.
Yeah, PUWR relates to anything, any sort of tools, basically in relation to the workplace. So it's the provision and use of work equipment regulations. That's what she's referring to. Reports to Gillian Leivers or Martin?
She just said yes.
Were those reports implemented?
She says no.
Do you still have those reports?
No, I left the company in about 2014 and my dad retired.
There was only them two. It's a father and daughter business, so I don't know what company she left.
Yeah. According to this, when she left, it was still trading.
Yeah, she's
So you left Allied Plant.
yes, they still trade.
Right. What year is this then, Ian?
2014, you say?
Yeah, we know that they went into bankruptcy because my accountant, Aaron Shelley, discovered that we were still paying them when they were bankrupt.
When did this come to court?
2022.
So this
But it's pre-2015.
actually 2022, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, according to her, they're still trading.
There you go. Another pack of lies, isn't it?
And also, this is pre-2015 as well, Ian.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. What a kerfuffle this is. Over an ear.
Okay. Got him.
Very nice. Right. So you left the company in 2014, Allied Plant, is that right?
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
Your father retired soon afterwards.
Yes.
Company still trading?
Yes.
Do you remember the first report you completed for Hillcrest?
Yes.
Do you remember how long it was?
It was quite long, about 6 pages.
At that stage, who was point of contact?
Martin or Gillian Leivers. Bear in mind, she said, didn't mention Gillian Leivers till just now. It was Martin or Lance Leivers before that. But now Gillian Leivers comes in the swing of things.
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as you're aware, what was Martin's job at Hillcrest?
I think he was like site manager, operations manager.
How did you communicate with him?
By email and telephone.
As far as you're aware, Martin ever appointed as health and safety person?
No, and I don't believe Martin had any health and safety training either. Any comment on that, Ian?
Well, it was very competent, and obviously she took the job on. So if he didn't have any training, what was she playing at? You know.
Well, it was that was just her opinion, wasn't it? He might have had health and safety training, you know, that was just her opinion. Do you remember any particular conversations with Gillian Leivers?
Just pleasantries. Here are reports, findings, actions needed to be completed as priority, and nice weather outside.
Said just pleasantries, so that meant just hello and goodbye, didn't it?
Yeah, maybe good morning. Yeah, you know, just niceties, really.
Nice weather outside. She's actually put it at the end here, hasn't she?
Yeah.
It's nice weather outside.
Okay.
I don't believe this girl. I really don't. Because if you're going to produce a 6-page report, it's going to have actions attached to it. So you have a column at the side saying, you know, action, and he's going to do it and do it by when. So that it gets done, and if it doesn't get done, it gets put in the next report. I do that week in and week out with my people. You know, you said you were going to do this, it's not been done. It goes straight into the next report. If you've not done it, you know, it's going to go into the next report. And then if the Environment Agency get hold of it, I'm going to give them all the reports and throw you under the bus. It's as simple as that. Get the bloody thing done. And she would have been exactly the same. You can't say, oh, by the way, you need to do this and then just forget about it. She's got a responsibility. It's up to her to get the thing put right.
But here's a question which I thought would flow very nicely with this. Where are the reports now? You know? So the
Well, she said they had a fire. So they lost. She claimed, and this is documented, that they had a fire and lost all their paperwork.
Okay.
Do you know, my filing system used to be today, tomorrow, next week, 3 trays. That's it. And they used to just rotate between those trays. It was so easy. So stuff that was in for next week could eventually move to today or tomorrow. Just a constant.
Yeah.
It's just a simple system.
It's usually called an Ivy League, isn't it? An Ivy League system where, you know, you have a list of things to do, and a new one comes at the top, and an old one drops out at the bottom. You know, it's a continuous thing. Anyway, remember the conversation of Martin leaving?
Yes, he was leaving, and I said, "Who will be my point of contact? Need someone to get points passed up to senior management." Geez, you're a massive corporation.
Yeah, can I just? Sorry, Brad. But now, if he's leaving, and what she said before, he didn't have any qualifications, wasn't up to the job. But at this point, she's obviously been happy that he'd been employed there doing the job, because she said he's leaving. So
I think
it doesn't make sense again, does it?
Yeah, I get you on that, but I mean, you could take inference from that. She just had somebody to liaise with in order to get access to you guys. This is what she says here. Need someone to get points passed up to senior management. You're a small business. Everybody mucks in, so to speak. I was just told go in the office would take over it.
Not having that. Not having that. If she contacts people by mail and by phone, then you send an email, don't you? Include all the senior management in it.
Oh, yeah, there's no, I didn't want to pick the bones out of it, but surely, you know, there's conversations as well in person. I thought, what's the point of me mentioning it?
Well, she should be calling meetings, shouldn't she? Health and safety meeting. You're all invited.
Yeah, especially with like onboarding and that sort of thing. Yeah. Okay. So, and
who told you that?
Gillian Leivers.
Did she say who the girl was?
Girl was called Nicola. I met her previously.
Did you say anything to Gillian Leivers?
Yes, I raised my concerns. I wonder if she raised her concerns about Martin as well.
So this sounds like a meeting in my main office, doesn't it? Because this is not just what she said earlier in the paragraph earlier, just pleasantries with Gillian and nice weather outside. This is now referring to a specific meeting.
Yeah, but you're just using semantics, Ian.
Okay.
What were her concerns? That's what I want to know. Was she concerned about herself? Because she's doing the health and safety. That's very strange. I mean, this girl was just a link to Hillcrest, wasn't she, or to Greenfeeds?
Well, it made it seem like there's this barrier between her accessing Ian, Gillian, Lance, or whoever senior management are.
Another point here where he's talking about, well, we're not got to 2014, but later, but we did, I think it was about 2012, 2013, change the name only. It wasn't a change of company to Greenfeeds.
Yeah, I've seen the email.
Right, there you go, Phil.
It was pretty short and blunt and to the point. Yeah, we're no longer called Hillcrest, we're called Greenfeeds. Please change it.
Here comes next. She stamps her feet next to.
What were your concerns?
By putting all the health and safety requirements on someone who just worked in the office is not acceptable. need someone who knows and understands what they are doing.
That's not her decision. That's Greenfeeds' senior management decision. They have to decide whether she's competent, intelligent enough to handle the responsibility.
Oh, the thing is as well, you see how dismissive she is of this girl. She refers to her as a girl, right? And Martin, who's equally incompetent, but he was fine, and she calls him Martin. Doesn't call him a boy or man. He calls him Martin.
No.
It's just, you know, it's just. I mean, I know it's somewhat semantics again, but it just shows that she didn't like this person anyway.
Well, I can tell you, I think we've discussed this before, that there's the email that she sent to this girl saying, "How are you getting along with health and safety? If you need anything, you know where I am."
Yeah, seen a copy of that.
Yeah, I remember seeing that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
were you aware of Nicola's training?
I can't remember.
But she was highly concerned, wasn't she?
She was.
She was highly concerned, but she can't remember whether she knew the girl was trained or not.
It is not acceptable, Phil.
This is not, as far as you were aware, had she been trained to be the health and safety point of contact?
She asks a question here then in response. What training would that have been?
Were you aware of any?
No.
Yeah, she doesn't know what training that would have been, but there wasn't any anyway.
I wonder if this girl, Nicola, knew tankers existed at Greenfeeds.
Well, I think she might have done.
Mm.
Why would someone be needed at Hillcrest to replace Martin in Martin's role?
All I asked who would be my next go-to. That was it. I was told it would be Nicola.
There's a difference between go to and do the job, isn't there? So basically, Oxley's doing the job of health and safety, and Nicola's just the go-to contact with Hillcrest.
Yeah, the conduit, basically.
Yeah. She doesn't have to be qualified health and safety specialist. Well, we know you don't have to be a qualified health and safety specialist to be a health and safety contact. You just have to have a modicum of intelligence. But anyway, so last visit to Hillcrest, the 17th of the 4th, 13.
Carry on.
The 1st of May, you gave health and safety course to some of the employees.
No, it says here last visit to Hillcrest, 17th of the 4th, 13. 1st of May, gave health and safety to some employees. My response is yes.
Whose idea was that?
They needed first aiders, so we did the first aid course.
Whose idea to give first aid course?
Martin, Gillian's.
How many visits to Hillcrest complete in total?
Hadn't Martin left the business?
That's what I was thinking, but it gets confusing.
It does.
Yeah. 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was probably one of his last ideas before he went.
That's his parting letter.
Yeah. So how many visits to Hillcrest complete in total? Only 3 or 4.
Yeah.
She only made 3 or 4 visits to Hillcrest.
And how many years was she contracted for, Ian?
Was it 2012 and she's saying here up to
3 years.
Yeah.
And in that 3 or 4 years, she didn't find out you used tankers?
No.
Okay.
Well, she only went there 3 or 4 times, so she was probably just unlucky, really. She missed them on that. So the last invoice to Hillcrest, July 2014, is that right?
I don't know. I didn't do accounts.
Arrangement between your company and Hillcrest, you charge monthly retainer fee.
Yes.
If you made a further visit to Hillcrest, they would be charged extra.
Extra, yes.
Ooh. And then the barrister jumps in here. And it says companies, as part of their systems and procedures, want to purchase products from other companies, ensuring health and safety of their employees. Duty of care.
Duty of care. I can't remember exactly what situation was with that client. Then about Brickford.
Pardon?
Yeah.
Okay.
As a general principle, reputable companies audit suppliers to check ensuring safety of their employees.
That's right, yes.
When you undertook your role at Hillcrest, your evidence, my words, you spent time with Martin, the site manager.
Martin was site manager.
Spent time with Ian Leivers?
No.
Lance Leivers?
Yes.
They took you through the process of what they did, and what you did as a result of that is that you told us you wrote for them the health and safety policy, correct?
Yes.
Process taken through health and safety expert, you prepared the risk assessments.
Yes.
The purpose of that is that for Hillcrest, your client, to then communicate what you have put in the risk assessments in a way suitable to the audience or employees, the workforce.
Yeah, she says the workforce, and then there's another question straight after them.
How to keep safe.
Yes.
That can be done and passed on in toolbox talks and the like. No, it can't.
Or getting the employees to sign off risk assessments as well. They should have annual reviews yearly, should do yearly.
Correct. Or if there's a change, or if there's an accident or something like that, it needs to be reviewed. Risk assessment. Going around looking at processes, what does the company do and how does it do it? Rephrase the process. You first you identify the hazards. Agree?
I do.
And you did?
Okay, here's a question for you, Phil, here. Okay, her response is the hazards I was allowed to see. Now, if you were putting your cock on the block, so to speak, to say you're the health and safety consultant, I mean, one thing I would do on that paperwork, knowing that there's operations on the site, which is not included as part of their task. I mean, I'm not aware you could even do that anyway, but you'd qualify in bold writing, we have not carried any risk assessments or method statements in relation to tankers on site. Wouldn't you do that if you actually could do that? I didn't know you could only do a partial risk assessment for a site. You can only look at what's going on over there, not this stuff behind me. Is that possible? Can you do that?
No, if you're in charge of health and safety, which she was, if it was me, I would go through every department of the company, including the office, I might add, and the canteens. I'd go through every department and I'd stand there and watch what went off. Or I'd look at the equipment and decide what that piece of equipment did. And then I'd want to know how it was operated and who was operating it and how they were operating it and after being trained and all that sort of stuff. And then I'd do the risk assessment off the information that I'd gleaned, basically. So there isn't any facet of the operation that she isn't responsible for as health and safety officer.
Because I remember they even did like risk assessments for people sitting down for long periods behind a desk, and also the color of the computer screen sets, but screen protectors.
Yeah. It's a thing, isn't it? I can't remember what it's called now.
That was years ago.
Display screen something or other, isn't it?
Yeah. Also the mouse mats as well. Where people, their wrists, they did all, they went into a lot of detail. And I know it ends up being generic, but it was all included.
Yeah. But they look at your posture as well, don't they, and stuff like that. Some people sit back on a chair, some people turn around and sit facing a chair, and you can lean forward over the back of the chair, basically, and stuff like that. There's all kinds of weird and wonderful things you can do. And certainly with on a production line, they can be bothered with vibration, so vibration going through your feet. So you can be forced to stand on a thick rubber mat and things like that. You know.
You know what I did, Phil, and I bought the rams to do it. Not risk assessments, by the way. Rams, hydraulic rams.
Yeah.
I was going to build some of them tables that you could either sit down or you lift up to stand, because day posture very important and standing. So they had the option to do that. That's what I was going into doing.
Yeah, I remember going into British Aerospace at Broughton in Chester, and they've got guys there working on wings, you know, massive wings of fighter aircraft and stuff like that. So if you can imagine having to work on a wing, they had chairs basically that enabled them to lay flat.
Yeah.
So they could roll under the wing and pull themselves round. So they were doing all the connections and things like that for the undercarriage and all that sort of gubbins. You know, in a horizontal position. They were working in a horizontal position. There's all sorts of stuff you can do, basically, absolutely. But she would be responsible for everything on site.
Mm-hmm.
So he says, and so risk assessments and going around the processes. What does the company do? Blah, 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 blah. And you did.
The hazards I was allowed
to see. Yeah. So that presumes, or what she's indicating there is that there was some parts of this business she was not allowed to see.
You know, one thing that's quite interesting, because people ask, you know, why do we go for all these documents? But an interesting correspondence that we get from listeners is they pull their hair out, right, thinking, why didn't they ask this question? They could have asked this question. It's obvious they should have asked this question. This is a prime example, right, of where the listener would be, you know, pulling their hair out, listening to this, and it goes on of the process, not all processes. Well, why were you not allowed to see certain stuff? What were you not allowed to see?
Yeah.
And why did you not qualify it anywhere? Did you tell Brickfit that you didn't even know Greenfeed had tankers?
Yeah. No, it's probably the cannabis grows that the Maruniacs had behind their office that she wasn't allowed to see.
Even so, put it down on paper, cover your arse. I wasn't allowed to see the cannabis grows.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but you know, this
Well, she needed to cover every blade of grass on that site. Basically, she did need to cover it, you know. And if during the winter the road looked like the Somme, then she should have made some comment about that. You know, if you're driving a fork truck down a road that looks like the Somme, you know, you could get stuck. It could turn over. You know, it could slip, slide. There's all sorts of things that could happen basically, and she would be responsible. She would have to have an input into it. So, you know, you can't say something like that. Oh, well, only the hazards that they allowed me to see. That's a massive cop out. That is. You can tell what she's doing there. She's alluding to the fact that she's not done bugger all to do with tankers and cleaning the inside of tankers. Absolutely not. Because she was never allowed to see that hazard.
This would lead me down a path of questioning her competency.
Well,
you know,
good luck with that one.
Yeah.
We have assessment for driving in bad weather.
Yeah. Okay. Carry on, Phil. Control. We've got about 4 minutes left.
Okay, so of the process.
Once.
Not all processes.
Yeah.
Once identified hazard work out, how likely is it going to come about?
She just replies yes.
Then calculate what the risk is.
Yes.
Then identify what the control measures ought to be.
Yes. He's telling her a job.
Yeah, this is the A to Z of how to do a risk assessment.
It should be the other way around. This is what I do.
Yeah. Control measures important for keeping employees or workforce safe. Do you agree?
Yes.
This is all they're going to say no. It's control measures. Then your client needs to communicate to the workforce in order for them to know how to keep themselves safe. Agree?
Yes.
How it's communicated is dependent on who the workforce are and what suits them best.
The latter bit I don't quite understand.
I don't understand. What suits them best? Accepted method of communicating to a workforce is, by example, toolbox talks and the like. Agree?
I agree.
Okay. What about posters? Posters are a way of communicating, isn't it? Putting time aside to bring people into the canteen.
Yes.
So what happens to the process then when she does that? What happens to the business if she pulls the workforce off the mixing shed to do a risk assessment with them? You've got to find the time and the right time and to do stuff like this. Basically, that's one of the big problems that I face. Although I'm not responsible for health and safety, I know that if I say I'm going to do a risk assessment, say for firefighting, then we have to do a drill. How do I get them to do a drill? Because to do a drill, I have to pull them off the workface, and when I pull them off the workface, nothing gets done, and management don't like that. So you've got to pick your moment basically to do these sort of things, but they have to be done. It's as simple as that, and they have to be signed off. To show them slides may have been prepared in relation to safety measures.
It's depending if you're talking more about toolbox talks. If you're talking risk assessments, generally done by supervisor, explaining, going through, making sure, understand. Toolbox talks, never really known to be done that way unless individual with learning disabilities. Seriously? Toolbox talks are a regular thing.
Yeah.
A regular thing in most companies, even if it's banter on your fish and chip Friday. I mean, you can consider that to be a refresher, if there's any issues that are going on. Yeah. Anyway, we need to go to our next break. Who's introducing the next song?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Do you want another one?
Yes, please.
So this song is called I'm Alive.
Oh, that's good to know. Let's play that now.
Golden rays are waking up my soul. Every heartbeat feels like pure control. Life is shining brighter than before. I'm wide awake and ready for much more. Sunlight on my skin, I'm alive, I'm alive. Dancing through the day with the brightest vibe. Beautiful life and the joy I can't hide. I'm glowing in the sunshine, high on the light. Sunlight on my skin, I'm alive, I'm alive. Dancing through the day with the brightest vibe. Beautiful life and the joy I can't hide. I'm glowing in the sunshine, high on the I'm glowing in the sunshine, high on the glowing in the sunshine, high on the light.
Hi, it's Steve Little here. Rev to some people. Just telling you about my show, Steve's Sunday Service, every Sunday between... Oh, wait a minute, I'm not having this. Join me every Sunday morning between 8 and 10 o'clock for some of the most uplifting Christian songs you've probably ever heard in your life. We'll have thought for the day, we'll have readings, we'll have Bible stories, but we'll have everything connected to you that will help you get to church on a Sunday with me, Steve Little. Yeah, Steve, Reverend Steve, with Steve Sunday Service every Sunday between 8 and 10 o'clock, only here on Dreamcatcher Radio. Play it, boys.
Soul is full, my lips will sing your praise.
This is
Dreamcatcher Radio.
And we are back. And off air, we do have some strange conversations. But anyway, let's carry on with Sam. We're now on page 5. Okay, go on, Phil.
No, it's important for the workforce to be told the control measures, how they should keep themselves safe. Do you agree?
I do, yes.
Documents to hand out. Are you still advisor or working in-house somewhere?
This is an interesting one. She says working in-house.
She means she's an housewife.
Right, no, what she's referring to, she's not a consultant to the employer, the health and safety company itself. Is that right? Am I reading that right?
Yeah, she's working somewhere, but she's working for a company.
Right, okay.
So she's not a consultant for them. She's directly employed by them.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what I get out of that.
Yeah. So someone like you're a consultant, where she's actually full-time employed by them.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, got it. Okay, cool.
So in the past, working as health and safety advisor, when attending new client, employed to be the health and safety advisor for that client. First issue you need to do as health and safety is ask yourself, find out what does that client do?
Again, if you reverse that question, that's what she should be saying. This is what I do. All of those elements are obvious, aren't they? And she's replied, yes.
This gets interesting, I'll tell you. So in this case, make pig feed. Agree?
Yes.
Second question. How does that client do it? In this case, how does it make the pig feed? Do you agree?
She says yes, but yes to what?
I don't know. Third, to whom does the client supply pig feed? Where does the pig feed go?
She said yes.
Right. She's doing well, isn't she? Does it remain on site? It goes to customers.
There's 2 questions there, but she replies yes. So does
You
it
knew
remain
that.
on site is one question.
Yeah, so you knew that because one of the customers wanted you to be on board.
Yes.
How does the pig feed get to the customer's question you ask yourself?
She said yes.
In this case, the answer by tankers. Agree?
No, because I don't think that was the case for this client. I can't remember what the problem was for this client. How this is not even plausible, though, is it? Not even plausible for a month of Sundays.
That's not what he asked her, is it?
But she's
if they had
basically
a problem. He said, "How does it get from A to B?"
Yeah, but what I don't know if you remember, we were discussing this quite a few episodes ago, in one of the other commentaries about her, where she said, "I was not aware the tankers were a problem." Right, that's what she said.
That's right. Yeah.
And in here, she's saying she didn't even know tankers exist. It was never even mentioned. But I do remember she said the reason why she didn't do a risk assessment on the tankers because she didn't realise there was a problem.
There was a problem. Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, but
So
anyway.
he's asked her basically how the pig feed gets from A to B, and she's answered that she didn't think there was a problem getting it from A to B. She didn't say how it got from A to B, which was what he bloody asked her.
Yeah, I think I used the comment. Well, did Ian use wheelbarrows then? I remember that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But anyway, but that's what we're dealing with. But again, there's just I know you don't want to drag out a trial. I get that bit, but you know, ordinarily you just wouldn't leave it closed and shut there, would you? You know, okay, let's just think about this logically. You go to Greenfeeds homepage. On the front of the homepage of their website is tankers. You go into the reception area, there's brochures there. On the front page of the brochures is tankers. It's not pig feed.
No, I had in my boardroom upstairs photographs of my tankers that's been taken out on motorways and all this sort of thing. Very proud.
Yeah, you can see that. You can see some of the photos you've got where you've got these amazing looking, what I can best describe as brand new tankers, you know, photographed together as if, you know, you've got a photographer in for a wedding day. That's how much you glamorized it. It's all about the tankers, and you know that's you can't really go and advertise pig feed in a yogurt pot, can you? So is it more about the business, the infrastructure, the nature of the food, and how valuable it was for farmers, and in terms of your confectionery blends. That sounds so American. That does. They probably eat that stuff, you know. I wouldn't put it past them. Anyway, shut up, Brad. Stop moaning about Americans. Okay, all right.
This kid has got more front than Blackpool, I'll tell you. When you attended site to attend risk assessments, I don't know how you attend a risk assessment, but anyway, when you attend a risk assessment, policies, procedures are taken round site. You were taken round site, weren't you?
Yes, quickly.
Impossible for you not to be aware of the fact that pig feed was delivered to the clients in tankers.
Oh, jeez, I can't remember.
Bloody hell. As a responsible health and safety professional advisor, you would have found out how the pig feed was being delivered to the client, and you would have found out it was being delivered in tankers.
Oh, my days. No, because I can't remember that being the case. Did you do anything before, Ian? Did they come down from spaceship or something like that? You know,
it's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's just ridiculous. She can be allowed to get away with this.
The Faulty Towers sketch, surely.
Actually, you're right. It is, isn't it, Manuel?
Yeah. Don't tell him your name, Oxley.
You can't.
You just can't remember.
I mean, why does not even the judge interject here?
Because he was part of it.
I mean, 40 winks, he is.
But how you know, the judge should clearly pick up on this and basically, you know, interrupt this. You know, we go back to that Marinic guy who basically said, I cannot guarantee I'm telling the truth.
Yeah.
It's absurd. Okay, she's got a nice little comment next time on the next one.
You just can't remember.
2012, lived a little bit since then. How can you? Yeah. I mean, just imagine
statement is that?
Following that incident as well, getting knowledge of it, and the first thing, you know, you would think, well, she woke up that morning, knew about the incident. Well, I never knew they had tankers. Jeez. How could that?
Well, anyway, what's 2012 got to do with it?
I don't know, but that's what she said.
2012. She's lived a little bit since then.
Mm.
Well, yeah. 4 of those years was on bloody Hillcrest site. It's just ridiculous. How she's got away with this, I really do not know.
Yeah, but more importantly, and we do laugh about it, Gillian got 18 years for this.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just,
It's a
I don't
travesty,
know.
really.
It is. So summarise from the, I'm reluctant to move on actually, it's that ridiculous. But anyway, summarise from the process taking you through those steps and stages you ought to have taken, you agree with?
Regarding the risk assessments, yes.
Your job, what does the client do? How does the client do it? To whom the client's supplied product and how the product is supplied. All those cues are cues as a reasonable health and safety professional like yourself, God, should have asked yourself.
And she says here, which I did.
Well, no, you bloody didn't, did you? It's obvious. It's obvious you didn't.
It's a shame, Ian, right, just thinking aloud, that we haven't got access to all her work, if there was any mention of tankers.
Well, we have got the risk assessment that Laura sent over to Molly. It's in the Manchester recording where Molly confirms that she's got the risk assessment that Sam Ramage prepared in 2012.
Right.
Have
you seen that, Phil?
No.
Okay, that'd be good to have a look at that. All right, carry on, Phil.
So looking at that process, creation to delivery, you can't actually remember.
It's a long time ago now.
It doesn't matter how long a time ago it was, it won't have changed, will it?
You would remember this sort of stuff.
And another important part here, this is a trial talking about specifically things that happened a long time ago. That's what court cases are about, aren't they? Talking of historic events and what happened.
Yeah.
So can you come to court then and just say, well, I can't remember?
Well, this lot came to court with selective memory, didn't they?
Well, they
can't remember this, but they can remember that. They can't remember this, but they can remember that in detail. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I go back to when they, I remember when it was alleged that there was this staff uprising, but nobody can say that they were actually there.
No, and there's no record of it.
No, because they were so upset about health and safety, but nobody knew who was there or what was said or what was discussed or anything.
Yeah, my wife's favourite saying, if it wasn't written down, it never happened.
No.
Simple.
Well, these people will have you believe anything. I mean, how could you even sleep at night with knowing that you're not telling this amount of untruths?
I don't know. Well, she's just been allowed to get away with it, and it's what you and I were talking about the other day about consequences. For me, this girl should be in prison because that is just out and out perjury, isn't it? It's out and out lying.
Yeah, it's blatant, and it's so obvious. And this is why I don't understand why the judge hasn't interjected. Can you seriously tell me that you did not know that Greenfeeds operated tankers? But you did all these things you mentioned above about knowing your client.
Yeah, having discussions about the processes. Yeah. Being on site at least 3 times in 4 years. Not bad.
Yeah, operationally. I remember once, where she says here, she says, what's the word? She got shown around the site quickly,
Very quickly, yeah.
That would make me automatically suspicious, I remember once the finance director for one of my companies had a tax inspection. And the first thing he did is put the air conditioning up in this small meeting room to as cold as possible. So it's almost like the same sort of thing. You want to just move them out as quick as possible and get on with it. And they're basically saying this is what they've done in this case. There's nothing to see here. Look over there.
Yeah. If I have a site and the Environment Agency visit, the first thing I do is send everybody for their break. Because I don't want them sniffing around. I don't want them talking to individuals because they nearly always say the wrong thing. So it's just as easy to stop the operation. And when they say, why have you stopped the operation? I always say, for your safety. I don't want you wandering around this site with people driving around with operating machinery around you, so it's for your safety, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't have them talking to operatives. I don't know. So, if looking at the process of creation and delivery, risks you identified caused you to create the risk assessments which you made, which you then provided control measures with them to the client.
Yes.
At no stage did you identify during the course of that process any risk relating to confined spaces, did you?
Maybe there would have been a full batch of risk assessments.
So where are they?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you have confined space working?
Did we have? No, we didn't, Brad. No, because we didn't enter any close confined
Because
spaces.
those bins had an open lid, didn't they?
They did, yes. There was only that was close confined space, and we didn't enter them. In fact, we've got the chart here that up front of Sam Ramage, isn't it? The washing specifications, and it says down one side, brewer's yeast. Did you need to wash the tank out? No. Fruit juice with brewer's yeast? No. Spoiled beer with brewer's yeast? No. Soft drinks? No.
Who produced that document?
Pardon?
Who produced that document?
Yes, this was in the jury bungle.
Yeah, no, I know. It's at the top of page 1 here. Who produced that document?
I would think that was probably Nicola for FEMAS.
Would have been done. I beg your pardon. This would have been done by Nick Bradshaw when we originally joined FEMAS.
FEMAS, yeah.
So she would have seen that then?
Of course.
Well, if you've taken her trouble.
Which is why you wouldn't have done a risk assessment for entry to tankers.
Yeah, but she's carte blanche. She doesn't even acknowledge that tankers exist.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, Phil, carry on.
So he said that there's no way you've done anything regarding to confined spaces, and she said maybe. I mean, to do a risk assessment for a confined space is not a maybe. It's bloody difficult. You've got such an awful lot of points to take into consideration. You'd know if you'd done one. Yeah. But anyway, the only confined spaces apart from the inside of a tanker at Greenfeeds would have been inside an underground tank or the sewers. There's nothing else. There's nothing else for a confined space. I wouldn't have thought.
Maybe a toilet.
If you fell down it, yeah. Anyway,
but even though, right, you need specialist equipment, right, for confined space working. You need an alarm processors. You need a banksman, someone watching over you. There's all sorts of operational requirements.
In actual fact, I wouldn't even attempt to do a risk assessment for confined space. I would go to a company that's used to dealing with confined spaces and ask them how to construct the risk assessment. So any other tanker company that does drain cleaning and things like that, I would ask them to guide me on doing a risk assessment for confined space cleaning.
Well, here's something for you. After the deaths, as a knee-jerk reaction, I paid for Jake Welch and Will Murray to go on a close confined space course. Okay. Did they ever need to enter a tanker close confined space after the deaths for 4 years? No. I didn't really need to have paid for them to go on that course. But again, knee-jerk reaction, belt and braces.
It says here, I've just looked online, basically the trainer needs specialist dedicated certification in order to teach confined space working. They need accreditation, formal accreditation prior to carrying out confined space working, training and certification. In training, by the sounds of it, she doesn't have those qualifications to do that.
No, that's why I said to you, I would go to a recognised company that was doing that sort of work and ask them for advice.
Yeah. Okay. At no stage, this is
At no stage did you identify during the course of that process.
Sorry, I apologise. We've done that one.
Right, I'm going to suggest you didn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right, yeah.
How nonchalant was that?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Pardon my chewing gum.
Vicky Pollard, isn't it?
Yeah. But can you remember?
No, not what every single risk assessment covered. Bear in mind, she had so long to prepare for this trial, right? You'd have a schedule, wouldn't you? An index or something you can just rely on. Please bear in mind, need to buy in on both sides. That's a good line, isn't it? Things reviewed by customer and myself, not just a one-way thing. So what she's saying there is she can do her work, but it needs Greenfeeds to actually implement it.
Yeah, she can produce a risk assessment, but unless somebody in Greenfeeds takes that risk assessment and delivers it to the workforce, it's pointless.
Yeah, which is
That's
true.
what she's saying.
Yeah.
What I would say is that I'll give you a risk assessment and you give me a piece of paper to say that it's been delivered.
Yeah.
With a signature on it from all the people you've delivered it to. And that's all you need. Because at the end of the day, if there's an accident and it comes to court and you can wave a piece of paper to say, well, here's the risk assessment and here's the signature from Joe Bloggs to say he's had it and understood it. Yep. End of story. That's all it needs.
On that point, there was some of your employees that actually said they didn't actually sign these risk assessments. You had to get a handwriting expert, didn't you, Ian?
I did indeed, yes.
From one of the shows that we've done.
Mike Maruniak attended a toolbox talk in 2017, spring 2017, when I purchased a man basket to go on the telehandlers for lifting her heights. And the very next morning, Rab, who delivered that toolbox talk, walked into the mixing shed and Mike Maruniak was in a loaded shovel bucket lifted up at heights. What they were doing, they were orchestrating an health and safety breach and photographing it, but were caught in the act. And so they claimed that they wasn't in that toolbox talk the day before. I got examples of their handwriting and spent £500 having it analysed by an handwriting expert who confirmed that it indeed was their signatures. I gave all that evidence to Kennedy's Law.
It's amazing the levels you had to go to, Ian. It's absurd, especially with all the damage they're doing on site as well.
I don't know how I survived it, to be honest with you now in hindsight. I really don't know how I managed to continue 4 more years. And then to understand also not only the Maruniaks and the cohorts, but Lee Marshall came back to work for me and behind our back continued to work for me. And then with onto package feeds was sabotaging my business throughout. And as you saw, sending emails to Leicestershire Police Force and photographs.
He photographs to Potter, wasn't he?
Yeah. But none of that was given to us as part of disclosure.
Yeah. Because I remember seeing one of those photographs, and they left the detail at the top of it, and it said, to DC Potter. And I remember then going onto the internet and going to Leicestershire Police, DC Potter, and trying to find out who the hell that was. Yeah. And then you said to me, well, she was later known as Potter, or later known as Iqbal, wasn't she?
Iqbal, yeah. She got married.
Yeah. So then it became obvious that he was sending stuff to the police.
Yeah. And
drop you in it.
Both Andy Hargreaves, who left the business, and Lee Marshall together. And those 17 photographs that Steve Hunt sent Brad, one of those was the infamous photograph inside Gordon. And isn't it not surprising now, is it, that that's the only photograph that Leicestershire Police Force disclosed to us? And had the other 16 photographs been disclosed, I would have been able to look at those and say, well, where'd they come from? Lee Marshall, well, these have been orchestrated after the deaths. But of course, they only produced that one infamous photograph.
Well, Hunt deleted those messages after you got arrested from my phone. But thankfully, other people got them because I forwarded them on.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really understand why he did that. Because he hung his hat on those photos, but for some reason he deleted that as well as some messages.
Yeah.
But
there was some that looked like they'd been tipped out of a skip. There was gloves and all sorts of things that Marshall.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's all kinds of.
How did they get through my 10mm screens?
Yeah, there was a right load of rubbish, wasn't there, spread out on the floor.
Well, the screens wasn't there; they were like nets, Ian. Remember?
Yeah, nets. I've still got. Luckily, I've kept, like I say, I've retained Green Goddess for the day that the honest police pick this up, and I've retained the sieve. It's on my yard here, and if you hit that screen with a lump hammer, which I've done, I've demonstrated it, it wouldn't tear it.
Yeah, I saw the video. Yeah.
Yeah.
But they still will deny that anyway.
Yeah. So they need to be taken. An employee needs to be told about it.
Not just employees, these are employees, though. She said not just employees, supervisors and management need to buy in the risk assessment as well. There was no buy-in.
Perhaps I didn't stop and
you
buy.
weren't interested whatsoever, Ian.
No, I don't know what I was buying.
They need to be reviewed annually.
Yes.
Process of review if systems change.
Updated.
So let's pull something up here where she says if they need to be reviewed annually, and she worked for the business, what's she claiming, from 2012 to 2014? But then she said she only attended site 3 or 4 times. Was that just to review these risk assessments then?
Whatever it was done, it was done quickly.
Very quickly.
If a new machine comes in,
updated.
Safe operating procedure on some machines.
Agree. It's not even an answer. You know, is she agreeing to the fact that she did that work? She's just saying, I agree that should be done, essentially.
Well, do we remember how John Harrison tore into Martin, asking him the same question as you picked up, Brad, multiple times to get the answer? And Martin stuck to his guns. He'd given the answer the first time, but he kept hammering and hammering and changed it different ways, didn't he? But here, just brush her through.
I thought it was hilarious where he suddenly flipped on Martin and said, "Can you treat him as a hostile witness?" Because he didn't like the answers he was given.
No.
Yeah.
At least he's actually answering.
Yeah.
Stuck to his guns, that lad.
Yeah.
So the reason why we need a new safe operating procedure on new machine, established way of working on machine, ensures safety of the person working on that machine. Agree?
Are you saying that it's the health and safety professional's position to make sure that it's done?
No.
This is the judge. The judge is welcome. MB put a question, invites you to disagree with or not. Feel free to add anything you want. Okay, I'm guessing this is hard. Oh no, this is you now, Phil.
Talking about annual review, look at the risk assessments and ask yourself, the person doing the review needs to ask themselves, what if anything has changed?
I agree.
Yeah, fine. Examples where things may change over time. An example is where for a new machine is installed. Do you agree?
Yes.
If a new machine is installed, the duty of the employer is to ensure the workforce using that machine do so safely. Do you agree?
I agree.
What's the point of this? In those circumstances, it may be that an employer will look at the machine, consider the risk, and will prepare a safe operating procedure for that machine.
Yes, I agree.
So that when a member of a workforce being shown how to use that machine for the first time, shown how to use that machine in accordance with that operating procedure, do you agree?
Yes.
It may be that an employer decides to keep the operating procedure or a copy of it near the machine, so when a member of the workforce who has been shown how to use it goes back to use that machine, they can look at that procedure and ensure that they are following.
Yes, that is generally good practice.
Yeah, and it never happens. Apart from weighbridge machines where it's stuck on the wall. Reason for that, to have that established process of using that machine to ensure safety. Do you agree?
I agree.
In those circumstances, the employer has appreciated the risks, identified them, and put in a place system for eliminating or minimizing the risk. Do you agree?
Workforce, yes, I agree. After you stop dealing with this is you. Workforce, yes, I agree.
So after you stopped dealing with Hillcrest, in a statement you said you and the company no communication after January the 14th. After you finished dealing with them, you don't know what Hillcrest did vis-a-vis health and safety, do you?
No, I don't have a clue. Was she talking about previously during the period at Hillcrest or after?
After she stopped dealing with Hillcrest.
I'm being facetious. Sorry.
All right, sorry. So tab 9, page 330, not taking you to the email for substance of Ridor.
Can you explain for listeners, just in case they don't know?
Ridor is an accident that's reportable to the health and safety executive as soon as it happens, basically.
Yeah.
So you would provide information relevant to the health and safety executive to your client, Hillcrest, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Your point of reference at Hillcrest was with Martin.
Yes.
Till he left. From May 2010, turn over to page 334, May 2013, reading the email chain, another example of communication from Hillcrest to you.
Yes.
Tab 8, page 323, had a discussion with Martin about health and safety board.
Yes.
To-do list you're providing to Martin. Would you agree the person best placed to know whether to-do list has been actioned is Martin himself?
I would assume so. He was the point of contact.
Okay, no further questions from JA or DK. So now we're on to MG.
Jim Agros, then, the lead barrister, the barrister who we have the recording in his chambers stating this. They weren't interested in you, Ian. They weren't even, he did the opposite way. He says, they weren't interested in Stuart Brown. That's Gillian's co-defendant. Why would he say that? The lead barrister was a KC, that they weren't interested in Stuart Brown. Then he said they weren't interested even in you. They were only interested in Gillian. Why would Gillian's barrister say that? And here, we've got no questions from him of the person who did the health and safety. No questions at all.
Yeah. I mean, going by all the evidence we've read out to date, bear in mind this is episode 51.
50.
50. 50. It surely, from what we've read, everything is, the missile was pointed at Gillian from day one. She's mentioned quite a lot actually, about her responsibilities, even responsibilities I bet she never even knew she had. You can definitely see there's a narrative, and that sort of conversation made sense.
Yeah.
They were filling their boots to follow that narrative.
Yeah.
The bit that I don't get though, is where you would advise that Gillian Leivers would go to jail if you went on the stand, and I don't understand why they would have said that. And knowing that the intention of the prosecution was to ambush Gillian and make her fully culpable for all of this. I don't get it.
No.
That's why I say Gillian Leivers shouldn't be in jail. Anyway, we've only got a few more minutes. We've got literally 2 minutes. I don't know if we've got a chance to quickly rattle through this.
We should be able to do it.
Yeah, then that's the end of this. Then.
So Ian Leivers, the way the contract came about to the company, your father had an initial meeting with Ian Leivers.
Yes.
You weren't part of that meeting?
No.
Can I ask you about that?
No.
After meeting, you became involved, never had any dealings with Ian Leivers?
Remember seeing him in passing, odd pleasantry, don't recall.
Never met Ian Leivers properly?
Yes, never sat down and had a chat with him about health and safety. Never.
If he was in the office, you'd say hello.
Yes, something like that.
As far as you know, that was the extent of it, yes?
Yes.
As far as you're aware, did Hillcrest ensure safety of their employees?
No, it was always quite awkward.
Can I just say, I know you're going through it quickly, this is John Harrison, re-examination.
Yeah. Okay. No, it was always quite awkward because they never wanted to pay for services you are providing. That's a weird one. Okay.
Why did your relationship with Hillcrest end?
I don't work in consultancy anymore. Main reason, I found it very hard dealing with clients like Hillcrest. You get really good clients and appalling clients. I felt I no longer wanted to be in the situation. It wasn't pleasant at all.
Well, she
Was
said
it not pleasant?
had pleasantries.
Did you get rid of her?
No, they went bankrupt.
Oh, right. Okay.
Why was it not pleasant?
Smell.
A lot of lip service and no buy-in. Tried to get to arrange things, and very little would get done. I wonder if she actually emailed that, saying that, you know, chop chop. Nicola says about the first aid. I've already given hard copies. I've already put them up, and we should have been in first aid kits. Site appalling. Holes in the floor. No barriers in certain places. It wasn't good. It really wasn't good. But she only went round very, very quickly, and she saw all of that. Okay, on that point, we need to end it here. Phil, do you want to introduce the third and final song?
Yeah, well, as always, Brad, I'm thinking about you.
Thank you. It gives you a lot of food for thought, this woman, a lot of food for thought. And it echoes the common theme of I know nothing.
Lately the nights feel longer and the weight gets hard to bear. I've been trying to hold it together. But some days it's too much to wear. They don't see the silent battles, the ones I fight alone. But deep inside I hear a whisper, you're stronger than you've ever known. And even when the tears won't stop, and even when the tears won't stop, I remind myself with all I've got, I got this, I won't let go. Even when I'm walking down a broken road, I've made it through the hardest days, and I'll keep rising, come what may. It's not easy, but I believe there's a fire still burning inside of me. No matter how heavy this life gets, I look in the mirror and say, I got this. I've carried pain I never asked for, learned to smile through the rain. But every fall has taught me something. There's no courage without pain. And I won't wait for perfect answers to feel like I belong. I've come this far and I'm still standing. That alone means I'm strong. When I doubt the road I'm on, when I doubt the road I'm on, I remind myself that I've come so long. I got this, I won't let go. Even when I'm walking down a broken road, I've made it through the hardest days, and I'll keep rising, come what may. It's not easy, but I believe there's a fire still burning inside of me. No matter how heavy this life gets, I look in the mirror and say, I got this. Every scar's a proof I've healed. Every tear has been revealed. I've earned the right to my own name, and I'll never be the same. I got this, I won't give in, I won't give in. This is the fight I was born to win. With every breath I find my way. Tomorrow starts with what I say. It's not easy, but I believe there's a fire still burning inside of me. And no matter what this life expects, I'll rise, I stand, I say with strength. I got this. Oh, I got this. I got this.
Keep it locked right here.
Dream catcher.